This is ABC 13 News at 7.
A Thanksgiving nightmare for one Danville woman. We have continuing coverage of a house fire that left a woman and her dog displaced this morning. ABC 13's Kyle Wilcox spoke with the homeowner who says she was saved by her dog in a story you will only see here. Tonight, a Marine accused of killing his mother's boyfriend is still on the loose. Authorities have been searching for Michael Brown for a week now. A murder suspect in Franklin County is still on the run tonight, and officials are saying he may be armed and extremely dangerous. Tonight, the search continues for the man accused of killing his mother's boyfriend in Franklin County. His attorney is now pleading for him to turn himself in while he still has the chance. ABC 13 is your center for information if you're traveling for the holiday. AAA estimated around 49 million people commuting by car this week. This is a live look at I-81 in Roanoke County. A lot of people are on the roads there. VDOT says these are peak congestion hours. And as you saw, many people are leaving the area and heading back home. ABC 13's Casey Baylor spoke to some folks who say traffic is even worse than they expected. One teen is in the hospital and another is dead after a head-on collision in Bedford County. Amani Logan is being treated for her injuries at Roanoke Memorial Hospital. ABC 13's Alessandra Young spoke to some of her friends about her recovery. A Gretna family is without a home after a fire destroyed their house last week. Now the community is helping them get back on their feet. The fire happened at a home in the 1600 block of Pittsville Road. The mother, Monique Babon, was at work when the fire started. Her children were home with a babysitter. Everyone in the house made it out safely, but the family lost their dog. Babon says losing their house right before the holidays has been devastating. Melissa and Patty, this house here on Bryant Mountain Road is still burning this morning after it caught on fire around 9:30 last night. Now, if you take a look behind me, you can see where that home once stood. A heavy amount of smoke coming from that area here this morning, and even some flames showing from the rubble. Well, Melissa, what we know right now is that the call came in just before 11 o'clock this morning about a train hitting a car. You can see that Norfolk Southern train right here behind me stopped on these train tracks. Now, this is right near the intersection of Main Street and Court Street. Yeah, these court records show that staff with the Blue Ridge Regional Jail brought a prisoner here to the Lynchburg General Hospital emergency room on May 9th. Now, in the search warrants, a detective with the Lynchburg Police Department says that prisoner entered this hospital around midnight uninjured. Those warrants show the victim was placed in a hospital bay and secured in leg restraints, a waist belt, and handcuffs. Multiple witnesses, including center employees, say they saw the patient being assaulted by the correctional officers or saw the patient injured afterward. Warrants say the patient had, quote, substantial injuries to his face and neck. The correctional officers claim the injuries were the result of their justified actions and how they were trained. The jail administrator, Tim Trent, says his officers are trained to use force when inmates become irate or have behavioral issues, and that was the case here. Trent says the inmate was not following commands from the officers. Now, Lynchburg Commonwealth's attorney Bethany Harrison tells me the 3 correctional officers could face assault and battery charges, which is a misdemeanor. Now, Harrison and Trent would not comment on the employment status of those officers, but Trent did tell me he does not tolerate excessive use of force. And if these officers are found guilty, that would definitely be grounds for termination. Reporting live in Lynchburg tonight, Emily Swecker, ABC 13 News. Emotions were running high for Lisa Henderson's family and friends as the details of her murder were laid out today in court. Henderson's mother says the guilty plea brings some sort of closure, but it's not the outcome she wanted. It's been nearly a year and a half since Lisa Henderson was murdered.
I still miss her. Miss her smile, miss her jokes. She had so much to live for.
18 months her mother, Sandra, has had to live without her daughter.
Oh, it's been lonely. Days go by that I just stare, look for her, listen for her voice.
Today, Marky Williams pleaded guilty to her murder. Another man charged with Lisa's murder, Felix Jefferson, is set to appear in court for his charges in November.
Based on the results of the investigation, we believe they took her into the woods and executed her.
We found 10 shell casings at the crime scene around her body. But the medical examiner testified there were 9 gunshot wounds in her body.
The details of that night in April now stuck in the minds of her family and friends forever.
Just an absolute brutal, vicious, premeditated, inexcusable murder.
Lisa's mother says she wanted a trial, but she'll settle for the confession.
I'm glad he said that he's guilty. At least he did confess, finally confess.
Lisa's aunt says this brings them one step closer to justice.
Relieved because we had a cold-blooded killer off the street.
But it's not over until the sentencing.
Justice will be served. As long as we have breath in our bodies, that's what we need to do.
Williams is set to be back in court in November. He faces life in prison. Reporting live in Campbell County tonight, Emily Swecker, ABC 13 News.
In an instant, his world tragically changed forever. An Evanston man lost his wife and unborn child in a recent car accident on Route 29 in Campbell County.
He just got out of a coma and sat down with Emily Swecker in a story you will only see on ABC 13.
Joshua Gatewood says the love story with his wife Madison started when they were just kids, and it was something most people only read about in books.
Yeah, fairy tale. We had each other and we had our kids.
They had 2 daughters, 2 and 4 years old, and they had a son on the way.
And she was so happy about that, you know. She was so happy to bring a boy into this world.
Joshua and Madison were involved in a tragic car accident on August 22nd. Joshua woke up from a coma a few days later. Madison and their unborn son did not survive.
And I think Mab, on the scene there, she had already left and she was just watching over me, and she made sure I was here to raise these girls, and that's what she would want.
Joshua says his focus now is on moving forward for his girls.
I know she's up there looking down on me, and she's not wanting me to be sad anymore.
He says the love and the life they shared together for more than a decade is something he will always hold on to.
I was so happy that, you know, I got to spend the time I did with her. All the happiness that we shared, I'll hold close and cherish it forever.
The accident has crippled the Gatewood family emotionally and financially. A GoFundMe account has been set up to help Joshua bring Madison's remains home and replace the family's only car. You can find the link to donate on our website, WSET.com. Just search Gatewood. The Concord Volunteer Fire Department was established in 1961. It's been almost 20 years since it was last renovated, which is why they're now taking this property right next door and putting it to good use. The Concord Volunteer Fire Department is growing. A higher call volume has led to the need for more equipment and, in turn, more space.
We have a total of 8 bays. And every bay is full to capacity and beyond. We have no storage facilities at all, so we completely have run out of room with what we got.
Last year, volunteers responded to 302 calls. That's a record for the department. Chief Jeremy Edwards says they've already responded to 260 calls this year and are on track to break that record again. 2 years ago, the department started a swift water team with Appomattox. With that came 2 boats and trailers to hold equipment.
Right now, all we got room for is 1 boat. Everything else is being stored off-site or up in the parking lot. So this new building will be able to centralize everything.
The new building, which is estimated to cost around $500,000, will have 3 50-foot bays, a dining area, and a kitchen. Chief Edwards says they've received some money from the county, but they're hoping the community will help them cover the remaining $300,000 to $400,000.
We have to do this to keep up with this community because we're growing, which is a good thing. And when the community grows, we have to grow.
The department is breaking ground on the project right here tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Everyone in the community is invited to attend. They hope to have the project completed by May. Reporting in Concord, Emily Swecker, ABC 13 News.